Who paid for it?
Which paper was it in?
It was in the North Jackson Progress.
I'd go with Progress. Ask them, probably.
As Mr. Glass.
You don't know?
I'd say go to Progress and ask
You don't
them.
know, Greg?
He's sitting
I'm
under
telling you who
the
put it in, I'm sorry.
You don't know who this is?
He pays the bill.
You don't have no idea?
No. I didn't say I didn't have any idea, but I mean, I will tell you.
Wait a minute, let me repeat what this gentleman said that on the paper. He said he wasn't gonna tell you. He knows, but he's not gonna tell you, so that's
I know
the,
who he is.
okay, well, that's the answer.
One other question is, if they're implementing a flood policy, which I think I've already looked at up on the skyline, which is a mountain, I really have a lot to worry about as a flood. If anything, a lot of you would be running up where I live if there's a flood. So why are you implementing a policy for a flood thing for me when I don't even live in a flood zone? So why would I be subject to something that doesn't even affect me?
You'll have to ask the county commissioners. They're the ones that's passing ordinance.
Why are they implementing a lot of things when they're not looking
Well,
at the
I think we have one. Discuss it with him after.
Yes. We told you that this stuff is being implemented incrementally. And a lot of it are like, I call it landmine legislation. They'll pass a bill or they'll pass an ordinance and you go say, what's this all about? And they say, we don't know. But nobody in his right mind would ever enforce this ordinance. And then it lays there until the time is right, when they're in the right stage, and then they start to implement it. So all of this is part of this same big plan to take your property. And if you see an ordinance passed and you don't know what it's for, just wait a few years, you'll find out. And flood ordinances are applied to everybody because that's the way to get more control.
Tim got a question over here.
Yes, sir.
Real good. Whenever we go to the commission and ask a question, they act like they're too good to give us an answer.
Well, then you have an answer. Vote them out and put somebody in there that'll listen.
What do we do with impeachment?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm from Marshall County, and I strongly support what you're doing. And I'm one of those old bad Republicans that's been spoken of. But let me tell you this. That man up there asked a good question. He said, what can we do about it? I'll tell you what you can do about it. You go to the ballot box, and you pull that handle, and you send them on down the road. Because there's a train coming of change. And you get on that train because we're going to fix this problem, folks.
Yes, sir.
I really think it takes a little bit more than just voting. Because a lot of damage has done been done, we got to correct it.
Well, let me say
Well,
one thing.
in this country, sir, we do it by a vote. We're a representative of the public.
Well, I mean, I was probably not voting for the individual. Like I said, we've got work to do.
We got a lot of work to do, and a lot of that process is education. And I want you to understand, too, the reason we point out things from Minnesota to Florida to Jackson County here and then down to Marshall County, other places, in order to understand what's coming at you when it's a secret, you have to see what has happened in other places that are a little further along in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
And you pull up what's happening in Elmore County, and I tell you that 5 years ago, they were where you are today. And 5 years from now, you'll be where they are if you don't do something about it. Now, they're having to fight to try to get their rights back. What we're trying to do is prevent them ever being taken away from you, because once they get the power, once Lowell Barron and these people get the power, and they're the incumbent especially, you really play the devil ever taking it back. It's nearly impossible.
Yes, sir.
It's nearly impossible. So what you got to do is get educated. You got to educate your friends and neighbors. You got to let them know what's going on so that they can stop this. Anybody else with a question? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like for all of you to remember, this is not why we had this meeting. You know, it's to get a hold of these guys' neck and shake it. That's not why we had this meeting. We had this meeting so we can all get together, strengthen each other, get your names on these papers and your phone numbers where we can stay together, where we can come out and fight this thing as citizens should, not illegal or bad. But we need to have strength from each other, and that's what this meeting was all set up for.
And I'd also like to point out that nobody here, none of us started this free-for-all.
Amen.
You know, they're trying to disrupt our meeting, and they started it. And they got one little article to harp on,
Well, finger pointing won't help nothing.
but finger pointing won't help
We
anything.
got to go forward.
We came here to educate people and to answer questions about what's happening, not to talk about politics. And I'm not particularly happy with either party. I wish we had a choice. I've never in my life seen an occasion where I couldn't find a single presidential candidate that I was willing to vote for.
I'll let you in that too.
Let me say something. The first off, I'm not fear-mongering. Honestly, I want people to understand what their property rights are, what their rights are in general, and that they are a gift from God. They didn't come from the hand of man at all. You don't have constitutional rights, you have inalienable rights. And it says so in the first document of the American government, that it's self-evident that God has given us these rights. They've been aggravated and assailed by government over the history of mankind. Now, there's one point I want to make. I was at a meeting where there was 5 candidates for judges in and around the Birmingham area. Now, these were basically Republicans. And I asked all 5 candidates, what was the purpose of government? Not one of them, not one man who had graduated from college and law school, was a candidate or a sitting judge could answer the question that came from the Alabama Constitution.
Put that slide back up there,
Well,
please.
okay, let me see if I can. Well, here, let me do it this way. Now, this is the question I asked them. I said, what is the object or what is the purpose of government? Republicans now, can you imagine, the ones that are supposed to be conservative, couldn't answer this. And I don't care who goes into office. If you don't start asking pertinent questions of the people that are going into office, and one of them, what is the object of government? And there was a follow-up question after that. Had anybody answered it, where would I find the definitive answer? But the person couldn't get past the first question. They couldn't get to the next one. Now, there was only one guy that I asked, and that was Steve Wyndham, that got close. The governor, current governor, said that the purpose of government is to do for those that can't do for themselves. Well, so I get money out of his pocket, and everybody else's pocket. And then I, as the government agent, determine who needs it. And I go give it to them. That's what Governor Riley said. That's what the Democratic parties are saying. Hey, I want these people to have this.
Let's not talk about that, Greg.
Well, but it's a purpose.
Property rights.
But it is the purpose of government. And
That's
as long
when I first got upset a while ago.
well, that's the whole thing.
This Barron probably does.
Let me,
So let's just talk
let me
about
summarize that just a little bit, what Don's talking about. Most people don't have any idea where their rights,
Democrats here.
sir,
Guys,
most people don't have any idea where their rights come from. They don't come from government, they don't come from the Constitution, they come from God to man, inalienable rights that you have as a human being. And if you can't do something for yourself, then you turn it over to a local official so that he can help do something as a community that needs doing. If the community can't do it, then you go to the state. If the state can't do it, you go to the federal. But it is a pyramid like this, people, with the people on top and the government on the bottom. What we have today is reversed. The government has all the power, and all the people are down at the point of that pyramid being driven into the dirt. You know, the Constitution doesn't give you rights, it affirms your rights. So you have to understand that you have the rights, you have the power, you have the vote as long as you exercise it. If you don't exercise it, then there are plenty of people out there that are going to take it. Power is just like money. It's like water behind the dam. The higher you build a dam, the more pressure there is on it. And it's time for you to start exerting some pressure back. Yes, there are other questions? Yes, sir.
Everybody's standing up and saying, what can we do about it and go into the next election? Why wait until the next election? There's a thing called impeachment.
Absolutely.
Falsified.
Well, actually, see, you can't take that junk ordinance off. You can't hold an election on it but once every 4 years. But the county commission can remove it at any time. They can put it on the ballot by a vote of the commission, or it can be put on the ballot by 10% of the population voting for it. But now the county commission can take it off anytime they want to. You just can't take it off by a vote once every 4 years. So if you want to get it taken off, then you get hot after these guys, and you let them understand that their job is on the line. You know, maybe you don't want to wait 3 more years, or however long you got.
Well, what was our government set up for? For the people, right?
For the people, by the people, they said.
Okay, then why has the people lost all the rights, and why has the government got all the rights?
They was traded into that house.